tonight. 5 people killed in a head-on collusion accident in the Korogwe district, Tanga region. Commissioner Diwani Athmani appointed and sworn in as Director General of National Security Agency. And in sports, Simba Sports Club coach says every team wants to defeat them on a Premier League. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. 5 people were killed on the spot and more than 18 others injured after 2 cars, Noah and Prado, collided when trying to avoid a tractor which was overtaking a commuter minibus at Mazinde area in Korogwe district, Tanga region. Some witnesses and casualties admitted at Korogwe district hospital say the accident was caused by over-speeding by both drivers.
The driver on Prado was overtaking a lorry, and the car coming from the opposite direction was behind a tractor, whereby a head-on collision occurred with passengers inside. There was a tractor which caused the other driver to crash and lose control. We've received 16 casualties, including 4 women and 12 men, and 5 fatalities. We've been able to stabilize those injured and wait for referrals.
President Dr. John Pombe Magufuli has appointed and sworn in Commissioner Diwani Athmani Msuya as the Director General of the National Security Agency. The appointment of Commissioner Diwani Athmani Msuya starts with immediate effect. Prior the appointment, Commissioner Diwani Athmani Msuya was the Director General of Prevention for Combating of Corruption Bureau PCCB. He replaces Dr. Modestus Kipilimba, who has been assigned other responsibilities.
Mimi Diwani Athmani Msuya naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania na kuitumikia kwa moyo wangu wote, na kwamba nitaihifadhi, nitailinda na kuitetea katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania iliyowekwa kwa mujibu wa sheria. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie.
More than 700 tons of cotton collected outside warehouses at 28 centers in Panda, Tanganyika district, Katavi region face the threat of being destroyed by rains expected to start anytime soon. Cotton farmers said that they will not give the cotton to buyers company until they pay him. Now, as we go back again, President Magufuli, more than 700 tons. We'll take it. Now there's confusion here. We do apologize for the mixture of the stories here, but President Dr. John Magufuli has appointed and sworn in Commissioner, has commended President Xi Jinping of China for continued cooperation with Tanzania in development aid and investment in various sectors. President Magufuli gave the tribute in Dar es Salaam, an occasion to hand over 40 vehicles from the Chinese People's Army to Tanzania People's Defense Force, TPDF, held at TPDF headquarters in Upanga.
Hayapigi kelele sana na ninaambiwa hata consumption ya mafuta sio kubwa.
The vehicles don't make a lot of noise, and I've also been informed that they don't consume a lot of fuel. It is fuel efficient. So I'm delighted to be amongst the people who got to drive one of these vehicles, but to witness too. When I was informed that there were 40 vehicles on the day of arrival, I asked for the vehicles not to be delayed at the port and were released immediately to this place. I commend customs and ports officials. They arrived safely. Our military has been getting a lot of military aid training, but also weapons and military equipment from the Chinese Rescue Force.
Niaba ya maafisa, askari na watumishi wa umma ndani ya Jeshi la Wananchi wa Tanzania.
On behalf of officers, military servicemen and women, and public servants within the Army, it is with great honor that I would like to show my gratitude to our fellows for the assistance we've received at a crucial time where Tanzania Army is faced with a lot of responsibilities, both internal and external, including supporting the government's efforts to build an industrialized economy. We commend you with a sincere heart. I ask you to convey our gratitude to the top military officials of the people of China for this assistance. The vehicles that you have given us will increase efficiency.
Ya taifa na jeshi la China kwa kiwango kikubwa ni mafanikio yetu pia.
China, together with its military, has played a crucial role in training on how to face various challenges. To a large extent, Chinese military has given us the opportunity to train. For instance, some of our military personnel has had an opportunity to train in China, and some of the infrastructure we use, weapons and other equipment, have been obtained from China. Some on grant and some have been paid for. This is why we are working with you to celebrate your achievement, because it is ours too.
Now, more than 7,000 tons of cotton collected outside warehouses in 28 centers in Panda, Tanganyika District of region face the threat of being destroyed by rains expected to start anytime soon. Cotton farmers have said they will not give the cotton to the buyer, SNC company, until he pays them.
Some areas are inaccessible during the rain season. We advise that preference should be given to such areas. We ask that payment is made on time, because when you farm, you already have plans. I ask the people to be patient as we collect the cotton so you can be paid. The buyer has agreed to pay for all cotton collected.
Muhimbili National Hospital in Dar es Salaam has discharged 3 casualties of Morogoro oil tanker fire accident, which had occurred on August 10th this year, causing the death of more than 100 people. Head of Public Relations at Muhimbili Hospital, Aminieli Eligaishi, said the patients have been discharged after making good recovery progress and that 1 casualty is remaining in the intensive care unit. As we are speaking, from the 11th casualties that we had from the fire accident that occurred in Morogoro that are still at the hospital so far, 10 of them are now in normal wards who are doing well and continuing with treatment, with only 1 patient remaining at the intensive care unit. We are also happy to announce that today we shall discharge 3 patients, go back home and continue with their daily routine since their health conditions have improved a lot.
Waendelee na maisha yao ya kawaida kwa sababu wametengamaa. Walipata complication kubwa.
Some of them had huge complications who needed to be operated on. For example, one of them was badly burnt on the legs. In order to save his life, as surgeons, we decided to remove organs that we saw had no chances of operating normally anymore. I would like to thank my dear President, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, for taking care of me, as well as the doctors and nurses from Morogoro Referral Hospital to Muhimbili National Hospital. I'm grateful for what you have done to me. I was in bad condition. Honorable President supported me with more than 500,000 shillings. I have nothing to repay him for his kindness, but only God will reward him fully. I'm hurt because so many people have died from the incident. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has told Parliament that the government has directed water authorities to charge water prices which can be paid by ordinary consumers. He gave the directive in Parliament in Dodoma when responding to a question by CCM Special Seat MP in Dar es Salaam Mariam Kisangi on why water authorities charge high water bills during the questions for the Prime Minister's session.
Recently, in several regions across the country, there has been a hiking of water bills without justification, incorrect bills, water supply being cut off, yet a customer ends up receiving a high bill. What has the government got to say to its people who have been affected by this? There has been a change in pricing. It is a government procedure whereby if such an organization feels the need to improve on services, can review prices, although there are some who have gone overboard.
Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court in Dar es Salaam says that 9 leaders of opposition to the party, who include Freeman Mbowe, have a case to answer and are required to defend themselves. This comes after the prosecution completed the evidence given by 8 witnesses in the case facing the 9 Chadema leaders who are facing charges of incitement during a campaign rally. The case has been adjourned until September 17th, 18th and 19th this year. Other accused in the case include Tarime Urban MP Esther Matiko, Iringa Urban MP Peter Msigwa, Deputy Secretary General Zanzibar Salum Mwalimu, Kibamba MP John Mnyika, Kawe MP Halim Abde, Tarime Rural MP John Heche, Bunda Urban MP Esther Bulaya, and the Secretary General of the party Dr. Vincent Mashinji. Now, moving on, residents of Kigendeka and Rusohoko villages near Nduta, Burundi refugee camp in Kibondo district, Kigoma region, have called on the government to request international organizations providing humanitarian support to refugees to also support communities near the camps.
After the market was closed down, those who took their merchandise to sell there now come to this one market to meet customers. I asked the government to reopen Ujirani Mwema market. I've got absolute faith that warehouses will enable cooperatives and non-members to gather and store produce safely, but also farm produce will fetch a good price, which in return will free farmers.
The reason we are supporting the storage facility is that Kigoma region has a potential to produce a lot of food to the neighboring countries, but the quality of the products is what matters.
Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan has signed the condolence book at the Zimbabwe High Commission in Dar es Salaam following the death of former president and founder of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe. In her condolence message to the people of Zimbabwe, Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan said she has received the great sorrow news on the death of Mr. Mugabe, which occurred in Singapore, where he was undergoing medical treatment. She called on citizens of Zimbabwe to remain calm during the period of mourning and as they prepare for the funeral of the former leader, Robert Mugabe. And national news, international news follows shortly. Welcome back, and in international news. At least 50 people were killed when a train derailed a southeastern province of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The accident took place at the town of Ridi at Tanganyika province. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Steve Mbikayi, has said rescue workers have been sent to the scene. Now, Zimbabwe's former President Robert Mugabe will be buried in his village next week and not at a national monument for liberation heroes in the capital, Harare. Mugabe's family and the government have been at odds over whether he should be buried in his hometown in Kutama, northwest of Harare, or at the National Heroes Acre of the capital. His family says that Mugabe's body will lie in a state at Kutama on Sunday night, followed by a private burial either on Monday or Tuesday. Nigeria has reiterated more than 600 of its citizens from South Africa following a wave of deadly xenophobic attacks that frayed relations among neighboring nations. A private Nigerian airline, Airpace, volunteered to fly people for free back to Lagos on Wednesday. A second flight is expected to depart on Thursday, with 640 Nigerians fleeing South Africa. Now, a year after President Salva Kiir of South Sudan and rebel leader Riek Machar signed a cooperation agreement, the Religious Leaders Council in Africa has called for speedy implementation of the agreement. The council members, who are attending a meeting in Nairobi, Kenya, have expressed concern on violation of human rights of women and children in South Sudan.
Gentlemen, today marks 1 year since warring parties in South Sudan signed a momentous renewed agreement to work together towards lasting peace in South Sudan. On this day, we come together as religious leaders of Africa to call for urgent action from the leaders of South Sudan's neighboring governments to ensure there is significant progress in the implementation of the peace agreement ahead of the end of the pre-transition period on 12 November. We welcome the reduction of violence since the signing of the peace agreement. However, we are deeply concerned by the rising humanitarian crisis that has resulted in thousands of deaths, that continues to leave millions of men, women, and children in South Sudan desperate for food and shelter.
And that is all for international news. Business news follows shortly after the break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. The government has called on the business community investing in the construction sector to look for opportunities at the 22nd Expo Building Africa event taking place in Dar es Salaam, in order to learn all the latest technology as well as get new business ventures.
Our ministry aims at facilitating best practice in these areas and is pleased to work with organizers of the Build Expo to bring together companies which will bring forth the latest products and techniques to enhance our development. The development agenda for our country for the next 5 years aims at facilitating the construction of half-million low-cost houses. To attain this goal, the government seeks to adopt cutting-edge innovative technologies and materials, and pleased to work with investors who will present our country with such solutions in the construction industry, as this will enable us to reduce construction costs and provide houses which are within the reach of many Tanzanians.
I would urge people to come and see for themselves. The exhibition would be here for 3 days. Entrance is free.
Kuna mtu alipi, njoni muone nyi wenyewe alafu muamue mnaweza pata hata kazi.
Tanzania Private Sector Foundation TPSF has called on the government to take lead position in speeding up the process of establishing the African Continental Free Trade Area, which will bring together 55 member states of the African Union in a single market and enable them to address the challenges of getting reliable markets facing many producers on the continent. Markets are there, but the question is, are you capable of competing at the market? Many people are asking themselves what needs to be done to be able to compete. It might include quality of your products, even prices of your products. Thus, there are huge benefits for traders and entrepreneurs since their products will get chances of competing at bigger markets. The future in business is in competition.
It seems to me the biggest damage that colonization did to Africa was to break our ability to collaborate. The biggest damage that was done to us was to make us suspicious of each other, both internally, where you have the government being suspicious of the private sector, you have private sector being suspicious of his private sector neighbor, but also internationally among Africans, we don't trust each other, we don't talk to each other. That inability to collaborate is the biggest obstacle to progress.
Mobile phone company Tigo has launched a new service called Office Internet, which aims to help small and medium entrepreneurs interact and improve on efficiency of doing business at affordable costs.
Our Office Internet service brings the best and fastest 4G plus internet to SME offices all over the country. And on top of that, we are providing SMEs with the best global leading tools to enhance their businesses from Microsoft. So while you may go out there and get very, very cheap offers, very cheap smartphones, very cheap data, all we know is that we know SMEs in Africa need quality.
And that is all for business news. Sports news follows shortly after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose some length.
Welcome back, and in sports news. Simba Sports Club coach Patrick Usems says every team wants to defeat them in the Premier League this season.
Tomorrow our second league game, And you know that every game it's tough and difficult for us because each team wants to beat Simba, and you know that, and we know that Tiboa it's a good team. So we know that we will have a tough game. So it will be up to us from the beginning to force and to make a good tempo to try to score as soon as possible.
Young Africans have continued with training as they prepare for their next CAF Champions League game against Zesco on Saturday.
We know even though Zesco have experience, I know them all. I have seen a lot of their matches. The TP Mazembe coach sent me their CD of their game. We know their philosophy. They know us as well. You can say you know a lot of teams. At times you will say you know Barcelona, but they may come in a different way. We know they have good players, but they can't stop us from doing what we want to do on Saturday.
Now, Lionel Messi says he wanted Neymar to return to Barcelona this year, adding that his former teammate had been looking forward to rejoining La Liga champions. Here's more on the story.
Meeting with Paris Saint-Germain to bring Neymar back to the Camp Nou 2 years after he left for world €222 million, but the Catalans failed to strike a deal with the League One champions. The truth is I would have loved him to come back to us, Barcelona captain Messi told Spanish newspaper Sport on Thursday. Barcelona president Josep Maria Bartomeu said last week that the club did everything possible to sign Neymar, but admitted they could not meet PSG's asking price for the forward, who previously scored 105 goals in 4 seasons for the Catalan side.
Niko Kovac is not willing to take any risk with Felipe Coutinho and will assess the Bayern Munich star's condition when he returns from international duty ahead of facing RB Leipzig. Here's more.
Loan from Barcelona in the recent transfer window made his first Bayern start as he played over an hour against Mainz before heading off to meet up with Brazil. But with a key match against early Bundesliga leaders Leipzig coming at the weekend, the midfielder is facing a race to be available, having started against Peru in Los Angeles on Tuesday as he builds fitness in the opening weeks of the season. Given Bayern's other options in the form of Thomas Muller, Kingsley Coman and Corentin Tolisso, Bayern coach Kovac wants to ensure Coutinho is up to scratch before throwing him in again.
And Arsene Wenger is on the verge of returning to football in a new technical role with FIFA. Here's the story.
Former Arsenal boss has been out of work since ending his 21-year stay in North London in May 2018. But sources have confirmed to Goal that he will soon be confirmed in a new role at FIFA following prolonged talks with football's international governing body. Wenger will take up many of the responsibilities that have been held by Sjoerd Boban, who left his position as Deputy Secretary General at FIFA to become the new Chief Football Officer at AC Milan in May. But Goal had been told that the Frenchman will be given latitude to define his job as it develops, with FIFA also keen to tap into his vast array of coaching experience and knowledge as they continue to try and develop the game around the world.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Karija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.